right, here we go. We got Moon Bunny Dominiel preview, and we're taking a look at her kit and trying to figure out whether we should pull or save our resources. Right away, her character design, I know, is going to be at the very top for a lot of players. She was teased a little while ago, and ever since, we've been kind of patiently waiting. So in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, okay, she's probably going to be a counter to whatever unit they release. And sure enough, she's a counter to a very prominent hero in RTA. But let's look at her stats here first. So Moon Bunny Dominiel is a light Soul Weaver. She is a Taurus. You'll notice that she has an imprint concentration of HP. Hopefully this will be fairly easy to get, because I know you've pulled a bunch of regular Dominiels and a bunch of challenger Dominiels, right? From all of your ML bookmarks and all that good stuff, mystic medals. But HP is not bad for Soul Weaver, right? Her imprint release is attack, so you can go either attack to give some more damage support to the rest of your team, or you can go HP to make her a bit more tankier. She has pretty decent HP, 4.5k HP, 114 base speed, so fairly decent for a Soul Weaver, not extremely slow, not in the hundreds, right? At least it's 114, so you can make her somewhat fast. She's not going to outspeed any openers, right? But at least you can go potentially right after them. She has a 630 defense, so pretty decent defense, and she does have 50 effect res built in, so it right away that lets you build her somewhat tanky with a lot of effect res and some decent speed. So especially for Soul Weavers, that's really important, having the F-res, because now with all of these strippers, right, first turn strippers, openers, it's a pretty feels bad when you get debuffed as a Soul Weaver. But let's take a look at her skill here. So we're looking at her skill number 2, which is Flow Control. So Flow Control increases effect res by 20%. So that's just base, right? So on top of the 50, I'm assuming we're getting another 20%. At the start of the enemy's extra turn, grants immunity and barrier to all allies for 2 turns. So as you kind of already saw, Conquer Lilies, right? She hits you with the S3, gets another turn. She applies attack break on you. But now with Moon Bunny Dominiel, it's going to activate her Flow Control, which is going to give everybody immunity and barrier for 2 turns. Her barrier strength increases proportional to the caster's max health. So the tankier you make her, the bigger the barrier is going to be. Immunity and barrier effects can only be activated once every 2 turns, and only activates when the enemy is a hero. So right away, that's going to at least somewhat counter Conquer Lilith, right? Because now when she S3s, you're going to get immunity and you're going to get a barrier. The S2 here, barrier strength, you're going to mola that up more than likely. This right away reminds me of ML Haste. So Moonlight Haste, his kit revolves around countering revives. So when a unit revives, ML Haste activates a barrier and immunity to everyone, and the barrier is insanely huge. So more than likely you're going to survive whatever skill follows up that revive. And then for her, let's go ahead and take a look to see what she does in game. So you'll see Conquer Lilith go, she puts up her S3, gets attack break, and that automatically activates the barrier and immunity for 2 turns. And as you can see on the right hand side, they have Huayang, Chu, and Alencia. So for the most part, I think this is fine against Conquer Lilith, right? And no other strippers. But where this is hard countered is, one, there's no cleanse in her kit. So you're still attack broken, right? If another unit outspeeds you and hits you with a debuff, hits you with a defense break, she doesn't cleanse. So keep that in mind. She doesn't cleanse in her kit. Now, you could potentially run Doctor's Bag. She doesn't have any healing as well in her kit so far as we've seen. So maybe we build her on like a super high tank counter set, high effect res counter set, right? Because we want to take advantage of her S1. But even then, her S1, we'll see in a bit, isn't that great. So unbuffable, right? She gets countered by unbuffable because then if, for example, Para goes first, unbuffables either your entire team or a few units. But we'll see how well she performs in game. We have her skill 3 here. This is going to be that support, right? So the S2, although it doesn't cleanse, it's going to give everybody immunity and that thick barrier. Once you're able to skill 3, it's on a 4-turn cooldown. You can mola this down to 3 turns. It's called Divination. In accordance with the divinations, increases attack of all allies for 2 turns and combat readiness by up to 20%. So it also gives skill nullifier once to the caster. It sounds like a lot. It kind of reminds me of AOL, right? AOL gives that skill null, except here she's only giving skill null to herself, but she's also increasing combat readiness and giving everybody AoE attack up. So AoE CR push, AoE attack buff. So we'll see if they show us a little preview of that here in game. So 20% CR push. So you saw there again, Doctor's Bag, right? That was a Doctor's Bag proc because they were still, okay. Because they were still attack broken, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, so there's that Doctor's Bag proc with the cleanse, right? So it's looking like Doctor's Bag is probably going to be her best in slot since she doesn't have a cleanse or any way to cleanse, right? And she's going to rely on buffs or giving buffs to your team to help support them and potentially deal a lot of damage with that attack buff, getting that CR push. But Para stonks rise, right? Landy stonks are rising. All of those buffs are going to be a bad time against Landy. You'll see here one more time. She goes with the S3. You get a CR push. You get a cleanse here because, again, of that Doctor's Bag. So you're going to need, at least, if you bring her, you're going to need another unit that can cleanse, or you're going to have to run a very specific artifact since she doesn't have that built in. There's also no healing. So she's pure support. So if you are thinking about bringing another unit in to help support your bruisers, right? You still have a huge barrier. So your goal is going to be to take out the opposing team before your barriers go down or before they get stripped. But that's kind of the thing, right? You get that CR push, the attack buff should help you deal a bit more damage. But you got to keep in mind, if they bring a lot of debuffers, she's still going to be a bad time. Unbuffable is pretty prominent right now. Her skill 1, Moonlight Wave, attacks the enemy with an ethereal Moonlight Wave and has a 50% chance to put them to sleep for 1 turn. This skill does not trigger a dual attack. So if you soul burn this, it goes all the way up to 100%. If you mola this up, I believe it goes up to 60% chance to put them to sleep. The S1 I don't think is that great. It kind of reminds me of Momo's skill 1, right? Where you have that chance to sleep. I think Momo's is 40% chance to sleep, something like that. I mean, I guess it's fine. You're keeping the unit from attacking you, right? But I don't know. I think with Para running around still with any other unit that punishes you because of buffs, any other stripper is just probably going to go before her, right? Even though you saw an Alencia on the other side, Alencia's going to hit you with the S3 and pretty much remove all of those buffs. If not, they're probably going to bring Landy into you and then you're going to get destroyed by that Landy. Her passive does not work against PvE units, right? PvE bosses, which is a feels bad, right? Only activates when the enemy is a hero. So that's kind of a downside. She doesn't have a built-in cleanse that's going to help your team. You know, AOL has a built-in cleanse. She cleanses at least one debuff. I think they should have given the same thing to her, right? With her flow control. She cleanses one debuff, and then she puts up the immunity and barrier. I don't know if that would be too broken, but hey, AOL has it, right? If AOL has it, why not give it to another unit that's supposed to counter at least another 5-star unit, right? But maybe this is going to be the trend. Maybe now they're going to start releasing, maybe every unit after this is going to be a counter to one of the big disasters that are currently in Epic 7. But let me know your thoughts about Bunny Dominiel. Are you going to be pulling for her? Are you excited for her? Or is she kind of meh for you? Let me know in the comment section below. Like always, if you have enjoyed the video, hit that like button. If you haven't subscribed, think about subscribing. It really helps the channel grow and reach more people like you who like content like this. Like always, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Peace.